Joaquin X.
Yeah, what's that other town?
One for all.
Beyond the
Mr. 91.3 WCW. Voice of the Voices, when we talk about sports, politics, religion,
state,
entertainment, you name it, we talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Now talk about
sweet skies
That wasn't a good field for money.
Yeah, oh, it was big.
And his wife's a teacher too.
Yeah, we worked together for a long time. Not all the time.
Yeah.
She worked at Webster Square Daycare.
And where is she now? Where is she working now?
Worcester Tech High School.
Worcester Tech.
There you go.
And we are back. This is 91.3 FM WCUW, voice of the voiceless. It is your boy Truth, and I'm here to address any and all things when it's time to, and it's time to. And I am here with...
I'm Trooper Joe, and I'm here to keep it real for you. I'm not sure what we got on the docket today for good things to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be lively in a moment.
Yes, it will be. Because you just reminded me, since I love women so much, that Mother's Day is this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And I completely forgot about it. That's right. So we have to prepare for Mother's Day, and I have to prepare for Mother's Day, which means I have to go to the store and get... Troop, do you have any ideas for some good gifts to get for Mother's Day, or some creative gifts, or do you usually do just the normal chocolate and flowers or whatever?
Oh, no, I don't ever do shopping. Even, you know, I don't know what would be a good, depends upon what the mothers want.
Take her out to eat.
Take her out to eat.
Okay.
I love to
No, you can't just come on the microphone and not say who you are. Come on, say who you are. Tell us your show.
It's Rosie with Chuck Demers, okay?
Yep, Rosie Chuck Demers.
Take her out to eat.
Yes, take her
She
out.
won't have to cook on Mother's Day.
That
She'll
sounds like a
love
good
it.
idea.
She'll love you.
Wow, that
Everybody does anyway.
Yep, that does.
Thanks, Rosie.
Okay.
Thank you, Rosie. Their show, if you're probably listening, you probably just listened to their show that came on right before us every Tuesday. So
Yeah, I don't know what you would get mothers for Mother's Day if you're a young kid. One thing you ought to get mothers every day is a hug and a kiss on top of their heads to let them know that you still love them, you know. And I think that's something that should go any day, you know. But take them out to eat is a very nice thing to do. Take them to the movies. They might like a movie. I don't know if there's any what's playing, but they like a movie. They might be aggressive. Take them on a boat cruise.
that genre of movies, Troop, I think is going away. You see a lot of comic book movies now, a lot of action movies. You don't really see you see a lot of dramas, but you don't see a lot of chick flicks, is what they used to call them. Like My Best Friend's Wedding, like girly movies where, like, you know, the type of movies where they're like, oh, let's go see The Bridesmaid, and you're like, I don't want to go see that movie. Those movies, I think, are becoming kind of a dinosaur, or a thing of the past.
And that's a good thing.
Or if you're, well, not for Mother's Day, maybe that would be a good idea too, to maybe take them to the movies and go see something that they want to see. Listen, as much as movies cost, Troop,
movies especially.
Yes, if I ever become single and I'm taking someone out on a date and I'm taking them to the movies, that's like taking them out to a steak dinner.
We're supposed to take them dinner and a movie.
Yeah, well.
Dinner and a movie. There you go.
Well, I want to make sure that I get that definite, my congratulations and my thanks at the end of the day for the movie, because movie tickets are like what? I think like $10 or $12 now.
I don't know how much movie tickets.
I think they're about $12 now, and popcorn is almost $10.
Oh, yeah,
Soda is almost $10.
Ridiculous, but I like it. But when you're going out with your loved one, then that's what you do.
Yep, that's what we do. So I think with what's going on with me and my family Troop, I think I might take my wife out to the movies to kind of take a break from it. But I know her, knowing her, she'll probably just worry the whole time anyways. But I think I'm going to make her go anyway. She needs to take a break, so we're going to go to a movie or something where our phones can't ring.
Yeah.
That's what I like. They shut the phone. Your phones don't work while you're in the movie theater anymore.
No.
They have like a signal blocker that blocks the signal. So if you get text messages, or anything, it doesn't come through until after you get out the movie, and then as soon as you get like in the parking lot or in the main lobby, your phone starts all the messages that come through will hit your phone.
Right.
Well, yeah, because it could be an emergency. That's right, but you know what? So many people abuse it. Some people even answer the phone while they're in the movies. People trying to watch a movie and they're like, "Hello, hey, what you doing?" Nothing. I'm just watching this movie.
That's just rude.
Yeah. So that's why they kind of
a lot of ignorance out there. But my wife needs to have the phone on in case she gets a call from the hospital or something.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know how or why they decided that, but yep, they decided that a lot of movie theaters now, maybe not all, but a lot of them, you cannot be listening or be on your phone with it working while in there. Because it's really
I
distracting.
mostly leave my phone in the car anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, don't tell people that, especially where we are now, because they'll be going through your car.
Get hurt.
So, yeah,
They say this is a phone. Why is it so big?
right. So true.
Round things.
We were talking earlier today, and we were talking about a whole bunch of subjects.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about things that annoy me, things such as Craigslist people. We were talking about grace. Wow,
Grace.
grace. What is your suggestion for what we should do with this gentrification?
Gentrification.
Yes. So so usually what I used to learn at my job was they would tell us P equals S, problems equal solution. So they said you're not allowed to come to the office with a problem unless you have a proposed solution. So if you have something that you want to complain about, you can't come to the office unless you have something that you want to do about it. So if I would able to go before the city council and complain about gentrification, what would my suggestion be to fix it?
I don't know. It's yours.
Thanks.
It's like you have to bring your own suggestion to the city council. I don't. For me, gentrification, I think it's a little bit too late right now. I think that the city here is on the last stages of development. Not, the true last stages, but for the plan they have. Because didn't they just have a meeting last week on the homeless or something like that? And that seems to be the last thing they're going to try to take care of Main South and get that all up and running and get that all beautified, give it some eye makeup and some lipstick and make it all good. And I don't know what I didn't go to the meeting for the homeless. I think mostly because it would have been nothing but pure rhetoric, because the people that are running the meeting and the people that are engaged in the meeting, they don't see the homeless.
Right.
They don't see the homeless. They're going by facts and statistics and things of that nature, and it's like that doesn't fit the homeless. That's excuses for whatever program you want to get by. See, in this city they did this, and there was a reduction of homeless by 20,000 people. Yeah, that was there. That doesn't have much to do with you. What brought the homeless there in the first place?
Right.
Care, part of the homeless problem being brought there is add care to rehabilitation center. Another part of it is, those people go into add care, that rehabilitation center, where is it, on Lincoln Street? The big one?
Yep, Lincoln Street, yep.
Yeah, but it services the whole New England area, doesn't it?
I believe so, yep.
Yeah, so when they go in there, they get their little rehabilitate, they get their little detoxification, and now they're on some kind of methadone or whatever kind of program it is to kick the heroin or whatever substance abuse that they had to go in there, but they can't leave.
Right.
It's like there's no magic thing for it, so they're just wandering the streets, and then they become the homeless, because that's what they're doing,
Right, yep.
They're just, it ain't really the homeless, it's the wanderers of the street.
Right, yep.
That's what you see.
And I think you're always going to have that to an extent. Not maybe as much as it is now, or not always, but I think you're always going to have, there's always going to be homeless. There's always going to be the poor among you. So
Yeah. A lot of the people, not a lot, but some of the people, well, a few, I guess, they're roaming the streets, and you see them out there with the signs and stuff on the corner, and everybody thinks that they're out there because of this, that, or whatever other reason. One of the reasons they're out there is because they're bored. They got nothing else to do, so they make a little sign and they stand out on the corner and they just solicit money till the shelters open up and they can go back in.
Right. Now, is there I know there's not a panhandling law, but is it lawful for them to like knock on your window and?
I don't know, we asked the sheriff, he's next door.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, but for them to, I'm not sure what the panhandling laws are, but I was on Park Ave the other day, and someone was literally not walking by, you know how they usually just walk by with their sign?
Yeah.
No, he was walking by, putting the paper up against people's door windows, and yelling and trying to get people's attention, because you know, when you see him, you just try to look straight ahead, like you don't notice him or something. But nah, he was making sure that you noticed him, and that you said either yes or no.
I used to, you know, give a couple of dollars to the homeless and stuff, but I stopped doing that simply because it's like I don't feel it does anything. I think it really, it's not worth all that energy to do something, because like I said some of them people are just doing it because they're bored.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them people are doing it because they want to get some libation or whatever it is that they're looking for. I don't know, so I had to stop doing that.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
and I do
became
think
a
a lot of them
nuisance.
do need money and do need help. But
They may.
fortunately, you know what's the one good thing about Worcester is that being left on the street is not 100% is without choice.
Mhm.
Meaning, like, if you need to get help, you can find help in Worcester. You can find a place to lay your head at night in Worcester. You can find free food in Worcester. Worcester is one of those places where if you look good enough, you can find any need that you want. That's what I love about Worcester.
Yeah, but that's most anywhere. But yeah,
Oh, Troop, there's one city where it's not.
Chicago.
My favorite city in the world. Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
They are in the news again, Troop. 10 shot, 2 killed in brazen gang shooting.
There you go.
Oh man, Troop. 10 people were shot, 2 fatally, in a brazen act of gang violence in Chicago Sunday. The shooting victims had been taking part in a memorial for another person killed. So there was 11, even this person was killed in a gang-related murder in the same neighborhood earlier in the day. So the person that they were having a memorial for was shot earlier in the day. So I guess it wasn't enough for these gang members. They had to come and get some more, score some more numbers, apparently. I could read one of the things that really disturbed me about this story, though, Troop, because of course there's been shootings in Chicago for decades.
Gangsters.
Yeah, longer than, I mean, it's been going like years and years and years. Early 1900s, gangs, it's just been going on. But one of the things that disturbed me about this particular one was that while they were at the memorial in the park, 2 people came out with assault rifles. It wasn't just little, pistols or these little guns that some of these little gangs are running around with. They're running around with assault rifles, Troop. If that's not troubling enough, like, what are we going to do about Chicago when kids in broad daylight are going out into these neighborhoods, in a park no less, with assault rifles to shoot people?
It's not just Chicago, though. Chicago just seems to be the picture that everybody presents in their mind.
I guess it used to be L.A. It used to be Los Angeles.
It's everywhere. Didn't we have a shooting here in Worcester just the other day, too?
Yes, a family member of mine was shot in the leg
Yeah.
a couple days ago. I think it was Sunday. Someone just, while they were sitting in group of ballots, someone just walked up to them and started shooting and got shot in the leg.
Yeah, it's just out of control. The reality level is this country is in the gutter. People don't really, I don't think people really, understand that if you get shot by bullets that you gonna get injured or die.
Right.
You don't count to 10 and jump back up and now you're alive again and you say, I'm sorry for all the ill that I did to somebody. Can I please start over again? No, you did.
Right.
You did.
So this shooting happened at 5:15 p.m. Still daylight out, and assault rifles were used. Deputy Chief Kevin Ryan said police were flooding the area with additional gang situation and tactical teams. And as of now, like a lot of crimes in Chicago, no one has been caught. So see, the differences between here and Chicago is this story, what happened here, girl getting shot in their leg, is not that common. It's not common in Worcester. In Chicago, 10 people getting shot, that's just like an average day.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a competition. One person getting shot is just as horrendous as 10 people getting shot. I
No.
mean, to me, somebody got injured, somebody got shot.
Right.
The thing that's appalling is that it's happening.
Yes. Agreed.
It is showing that there's a lack of decency. There's a lack of common sense. There's a total lack of humanism. It's like, what is all this stuff all about? Why is everybody just acting a fool? And you could point fingers at everything. It might be the ice cream. I don't know.
That's a great question. What's causing it? Because what is going on in Chicago that's not going on in Worcester? Is it because the police are doing a better job? Should we credit our police, the Worcester Police Department, for protecting, and the detectives of the Worcester Police Department for keeping guns off the streets? Or
Nah, I don't think so.
no? So what do you think? What could be well, Chicago is not.
Chicago is a business-related, orientated town. It's got the rivers running by.
Yep.
It's got commerce coming through there. There's a lot of monies to be made in Chicago, but the part that has the blight and the urban needs urban development, and it's just a slum and a ghetto type of area. Is the other side of Chicago, where people still live in there, because some people still work the menial jobs down in Chicago, Maine, and Chicago is structured so differently than Worcester that you can have these little pockets, not little, but these huge pockets of violence and boredom. And I think when you're totally bored, because I ain't gonna say it's a lack of money, because I think those people that's in the gangs and everything, I think they're making pretty good money. It ain't legal money, but I'm sure that they're making enough money to sustain the pleasurable habits that they call pleasurable. For, whatever it might be. I don't know, it might be getting high, it might be chasing ladies, I don't know what it might be. But whatever it might be, I think that they have enough money to do it. But I think that they're bored.
Right.
I think that the boredom level in Chicago is way beyond the boredom level of, let's say, Worcester. Now, you get to Worcester, and even though it's a larger city, it's sprawled out and everything, and a lot of Worcester has the pockets where the boredom lives in those the rundown neighborhoods and everything, they're not as rundown as the places in Chicago. The people don't have to travel as far to get a job and stuff. They can go and get the job, and they can come back, and it's not as destitute as Chicago. But the boredom level is still there.
Right.
They just haven't massed the numbers to go out there and start shooting each other for no reason, and to see each other. These are predominantly gang-related crimes that you're talking about in Chicago. They were over some silliness or something.
Well, here's my theory, Troop. I have a theory as to why it is. It goes along. It piggybacks on what you were saying about how poor some of those neighborhoods in Chicago are, and how those are worse than things here as well. And I think when you have such poor neighborhoods, that causes mental health issues.
Yeah.
That causes trauma, mental trauma. To see burned down buildings, it's almost like my house, right? I have 6 kids or 7. I keep losing count, but there's a lot of them. They're all over the place in the house, and it's hard to keep cleaning because it takes 15 minutes for them to destroy a whole room, and it takes about an hour and a half for them to clean up after themselves because they're kids. They're 6 years old, 5 years, 6, 7 years old. So what I notice is when I walk into the house and it's just disgusting and destroyed, my mood is a lot worse than it is when the house is clean. You automatically feel better. So I think when you're living in even towns like that where buildings are abandoned, cars are set on fire, and it looks like the Terminator scene in the future when everything's exploded with a bomb. It looks like it has been bombed. Like I said, Chicago should be.
It even goes beyond little things that people don't even recognize, People walking around with their little pit bulls and all these vicious little dogs.
Yep.
And the dogs are just going to the bathroom right on the street.
Yep.
It's like they're not picking up after themselves. So now you're coming home to your place, and that's your sanctuary, it's your home, so it doesn't matter what it looks like on on the outside, it's what you make it on the inside, because it is your sanctuary, but you gotta jump over dog feces, you can't go too near this one because you might get bit, it's like, it's just, yeah, it's not a nice way to live, so it will play on your psyche, I believe, your level of, how come I gotta live like this? Where's the city coming in here and cleaning up the streets? Why doesn't somebody do something about this?
Right.
And they're absolutely correct in asking why those things aren't taking place. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, yeah, the city, you knew it was there. Of course, you didn't just turn a blind eye to it. Maybe you just said, oh, well, we can't afford to have the city maintenance crew this year do everything, so forget them.
Right.
We're not going into that neighborhood because those people don't appreciate it anyway.
Yep.
You know, you don't appreciate it, you're not doing your job.
Nope, you're not. That is another one of the problems that's going on. They're not doing their job.
Yeah, then it goes down and down and down and down and down and less and less and less. And then when you get a police department, we can say lots and lots of things about police departments if we want to, but the bottom line of police are, they ain't nothing but people. I don't care what uniform you put on them and stuff, they're nothing but people. You give them a little bit of training on rules and regulations more than you do on any other type of thing like that. And then you put them out in the street with a big old giant gun and some mace and all these little electric things and stuff.
And then Jordan Edwards happens. 15-year-old gets shot in a car that's driving away from police officers.
Yeah, because, you know, they didn't know what to do. Or that other guy that was last year who got shot in the car, because he told the policeman, I have a license to carry the gun. And the police officer panicked. He had
shot him.
Gun, oh no. That's all he heard. Black man with a gun, shot him dead. It's like, you know, that the guy had no business being a police officer.
Well, one of them that happened also in 2000. Well, it happened in 2015. Michael Slager, who shot Walter Scott in the back as he was running away, he just pled guilty.
He was crazy, and I don't even know if crazy is the word. He was evil.
Yep.
He is evil. I don't care what anybody else says. He's evil. That was evil.
All right. So
there's evil stuff out there.
To go off of on that mental health thing, Truth, because I think that's what's happening with a lot of the people on drugs here and everything. State seeks to delay UMass Memorial psych bed cuts. So UMass Memorial are trying to cut the amount of beds they have in the psych wards because each one costs money. So it's a form of budget cuts. What do you think about them cutting that? Don't you think there's other things more important on the list of things that could be cut before psych beds?
I don't know. I don't know how they classify what it is for psych. I know that there used to be a whole lot of mental institutions all over the place, and they closed them all, put them all out on the street.
Yep.
So then it grew into the problem that you see right now. You know, there's a lot of people out on the street. That doesn't mean that they're crazy. That means that they're out on the street.
Right.
You know?
You're right.
So if they're cutting the psych bed wards, they gave addiction the boosted it up to the level of disease and mental illness. So how many of these people in the psych bed wards have some kind of opiate addiction or something like that? They're not
just
crazy.
Homeless.
But yeah, just homeless. They're not crazy.
Yep.
They're not developing.
Nope.
You know, they may develop into being some kind of schizophrenic type of person later on in life if they keep going down this track that you know, destroy some of their brain cells to become wet.
It definitely is a hustle, Troop. I've seen people that go into EMH at UMass, and they're just like, yeah, I need a bed to sleep. I need a place to sleep tonight. All right, I feel sad. And they'll go in there and say whatever it is to make them keep them. But the beds are meant for example, like if I have a cousin who's 30 years old and he cuts or something like that, or he has suicidal thoughts or something like that, you know, they have those beds so they can monitor him and make sure that he's taking his medication like he's supposed to, make sure that he's not a danger to himself or anybody else. So that's what those beds are for. So it really bothers me that they're cutting those.
But the system is played by the people who are in the system. You know, those people that's on it, they know where to get the food, they
Right.
know how to get the beds, they
Yep.
know all these types, they know where the beliefs are, they know all these types of ins and out of that system and how to use it. I don't know how to use that system,
Right.
you know, but they know how to use that
But
system.
the solution shouldn't be cut the thing that people actually need, though.
But it doesn't generate money.
And that's the problem.
That's-
Therein lies a problem with
Yeah.
Worcester. Once again, with Worcester caring about the money more than they caring about people.
Because those people, I would think that there's a healthy number of those people that don't have insurance.
Right, right.
You know?
But you know what's disgusting though, troopers, is that they're trying to cut costs and save money. But then every time I look, UMass is building a new building. They got a new extension. They're adding a new building for a school, a new giant parking lot. They're always developing something. They're working on something over there now.
Yeah, the health field is big business. It's not the health field anymore. They can call it the health field, but it's a business proposition.
Right.
It's business. The UMass competes against the big ones in Boston and stuff, and they compete against the city hospital that's here too. Was that St. Vincent's?
St. Vincent, St. V's, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, by competing against the big hospitals in Boston, what happens is they get the overflow from the people outside of Boston, from Framingham and those areas and other rural areas
Mhm.
that may not have the premier insurance card that the
Yeah,
people that
that
go
you
to
need.
Brigham and Women or Mass General have going there. So they say, okay, well, they also treat this in Worcester. So you go to Worcester, you go to one of the Worcester hospitals like that, but they don't have the same good premiums and stuff.
Or Boston Children's Hospital.
Sure,
because
yeah.
Those are, and you know what, Troop, to keep it real, those are some good hospitals.
Yeah.
UMass is a good hospital as
Yeah.
well, so I
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
don't want to say anything bad about you. Well, I definitely do want to say something about UMass, but I don't want to say, as far as their care, I think they're good, and I think they have a right to be compared to Boston Children's Hospital and Brigham and Women's. I think they have a right to be compared to those hospitals because they are just advanced. My problem is
They
that
are just as advanced as those hospitals. They're just as savvy as those hospitals. They're just as well. They got one of the world best appendiceal cancer surgeons in the world.
They do?
Yeah, this.
I heard, I
heard.
heard, right, I heard she's a wonderful woman. I heard she is the best. The best country in the country, bar none.
Yeah, she's the best in her field.
Okay.
One
And-
of the best in her field, right
and she
here
had-
in Worcester.
Yeah,
folks.
right in Worcester, Mass, right at UMass.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
She's
they
busy
have
right
that.
now.
I just wish I'd hear less. Because I used to work for UMass too.
Sure.
And whenever I used to work in medical records. And when I used to work there, all I would hear about is the money,
Go
the
outside.
cost saving, the money. If it's such a big business, why am I not hearing more or enough about the care or the care or the care? But-
Because it's not about the care, it's about the money.
Yep.
And the insurance companies are dictating what it is. And the insurance companies, they can bill for curing diseases and curing things like that. That's
Yep.
what they can bill for. You know, so they're billing as much as they can. But you gotta have the patient to get into the hospital to bill.
Yep, you're
So
right.
if UMass has an overflow of beds that ain't not bringing in any money,
Mm-hmm.
then they're losing money.
All right.
You know,
Speak-
those beds aren't doing anything. That the people, yeah, and the potential money that they could make from that thing too is being factored into the money that they're losing.
Oh, the money.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be in anything.
So,
now. It's the
and that's
money.
another good segue, Troop, because another thing happened this past week since last Tuesday's Voice of the Voiceless,
Tuesday.
which was the Obamacare Affordable
Obama.
Care Act will now be, well, if it goes through the Senate, will be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And now we have the American Health Care Act, which
What
is
nonsense.
held by Donald Trump. And just like I was talking about UMass, and we talk about money, this bill is about money.
Yeah, but you know what the part I think a lot of people are missing about this
What?
this bill? They're the ones wanting it. It's like you're giving up something that's A for something that's C.
Mhm.
And then when you get ill, you're gonna want to have A.
Right. Yep.
It's like, but now you won't have A, so you're gonna get all upset and be gonna complain and everything. You're schizophrenic. The whole population is schizophrenic.
True. So this is why I blame Obama, by the way. I
Okay.
blame Obama because before the Affordable Care Act, was the country that bad in the first place? Was the healthcare? Did the healthcare need a lot of changes before that? Well, then again, if UMass is talking about money, and insurances and
It's the insurance.
maybe it was,
it's the
but
insurance companies that and the administrative people within the hospitals that are governing and directing all this stuff like that. It's not the doctors or it's not the support staff. They're just people working, doing their job, taking care of business and stuff. But it's it's the administrators in the hospital. They're all the bean counters. We got to do this so that we can make more money. We got to do that so we can make more money. It's the insurance company. Yeah, well, if they don't do what I say, then I'm not going to pay for it. So it's like, how does this work?
So
And then you got an overflow of, then you got all these beds just for mental illness. What constitutes mental illness? What's the cure for mental illness? It's a long, drawn-out kind of in-house cure. So it's losing money.
you would think mental health, since there is no cure, would make money because the money is in the treatment, not the cure.
Yeah, but the patient ain't got the insurance.
The insurance, right.
Yeah.
So you think Obamacare was needed? The Affordable Care Act was needed?
I don't know that much about all them acts and stuff. My whole thing about illnesses and sickness and stuff is preventive maintenance. You don't treat your body like a piece of junk, then you don't have to worry that hard about it when you get into those areas and stuff. A lot of people that go into the hospital now, they're like in their 30s.
Yep.
They got diabetes, they got high blood pressure, they got heart disease, they got
Yes.
all these. And as far as I am, you're in your 30s, they ain't even in their heavy 30s, they're in
Right.
their mid-30s. And it's like, your lifestyle is killing you.
It is. It is.
So, you know,
So that's
somebody says, why do I have to pay for it?
right. So people are, and I think I agree that people, I don't have the numbers, but I think people are probably, it seems like they're catching diabetes at earlier ages.
Yeah.
The obesity rate is so it's definite. It's not even, you don't need to see numbers to see that. It's definite. The people with kids becoming obese at an earlier age,
Oh, yeah,
then
big
diabetes is going to naturally come at a younger age, and then you have people in the hospital for all these things, and it's too much of a strain on healthcare.
And then not only just that, they thought with Obamacare that the younger population was going to be taking in the insurances and paying for the older population. It just got Mickey Moused around to the thing. The younger population is living in the house with the older population because it doesn't have a job and doesn't have any place to go, so it doesn't have any insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the younger population. So the older population has to stay alive to take care of the younger population.
Right. So here's one of the things so the changes you ask
Stay
is,
alive.
how does the Affordable Care American Care Act, Healthcare, the American Healthcare Act, let me get that correct, the
Yeah.
American Healthcare Act, how does those changes and the repeal of Obamacare affect Massachusetts? Well, let me read this
time.
real quick. Medicaid health insurance for the poor and Medicare insurance for the elderly are joint federal-state programs. Mass Health, the state Medicaid program, costs approximately $15 billion, of which around $9 billion is paid for by the federal government. That will be cut heavily. In early November, state officials received a waiver from the federal government allowing Massachusetts to restructure Mass Health in a 5-year, $52.4 billion deal. State administrators, officials have said they assume the waiver will remain in effect, although there are no guarantees.
Yeah.
So they are afraid that Mass Health as a whole, or as it was, will be cut. Now, Mass Health is weird anyways because they'll accept you on Mass Health one day and then cut you the next day. One day you'll just go to the doctors thinking you have it, give your card, and they'll say, oh no, your Mass Health has been canceled.
Yeah, because that's how that money generated and flows around. And Mass Health got too big for its britches. It was giving out monies to people just because they would sneeze, and you can go in there and they say, well, I have a problem. Now with the drug epidemic, you go in there and say, I have an existing problem and stuff like that, then that's what they do.
Yep. Yeah, so,
Sheriff's tall.
yes it is. So,
No, the sheriff, he's a big boy, he's just leaving.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was just a sheriff?
Yeah, that's Lou. What's his name? He's the sheriff.
Okay.
About 6'6".
Man, we should have asked him, come in here and ask him what his opinion is on why crime is lower in places like Worcester than it is in Chicago. Wonder if he has anything to do with it.
Don't know, I think he's probably getting ready to run for office, but...
Uh-oh. Running for office. True, I'm surprised. Even though May is coming around, it's been kind of quiet for the political realm in Worcester.
There's too many candidates at the moment.
Right.
You know,
one of those candidates, again, we talked about her last week, Michael Gaffney, Corinne Gaffney running.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from her since last week?
I didn't hear anything. I went to the Sarai thing, that's all, for a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes.
How did that go?
They had a lot of people there, but, you know, a lot of people always show up to be seen.
Yep.
And I think, you know, Sarai is a very outstanding politician and a very beautiful young lady, too. I think Sarai has brains and beauty, and that's a good mix for being a politician.
Yep.
You know, and she got a big heart.
Yeah.
She has a really big heart.
Yeah, I don't know who the sheriff was. I didn't recognize the sheriff that just walked out here.
I can't say his last name.
Okay.
First name's Lou.
Okay, if he runs, he looks like he's made for office. He's tall, he looks like he could be a Kennedy or something. He has that Kennedy look to him.
Oh, he's the sheriff. You know.
Yeah. Right. All right, so I think we're going to go to a quick bumper, and we'll be right back on Voice of the Voiceless.
WCW 91.3 FM, community radio serving Central Massachusetts, online at wcuw.org.
Support for WCUW comes from you and Enterprise Cleaning Corporation, featuring daily and nightly cleaning, carpet shampooing, floor stripping, refinishing, and more. 508-890-1000, on the web at enterprisecleaningcorp.com.
Major key alert! Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Voice of the Voiceless, WCUW 91.3 FM. It is your boy Truth It, and I am here with Trooper Joe, who's always here to keep it real for you. And you know what? One of those things that I didn't notice, or that I thought was a thing that was nationwide, I just looked and realized that there is a thing called school lunch shaming inside America's hidden debt crisis. So I thought after Massachusetts passed it, because it happened in Massachusetts a little while ago, that all kids got free lunch. I thought that was a nationwide thing, but apparently it is not a nationwide thing. Not everyone does have lunch. Matt Antiglio has worked in public school cafeterias for 24 years. He's learned two key truths. Just about every kid loves pizza, and an alarming number of American youngsters still can't afford a $2.35 lunch despite the dramatic expansion of free and reduced lunch programs. Just because free lunch programs have expanded doesn't mean that the people who aren't on free lunch can still afford it. That's why it was made free in the first place. True, did you know that free lunches existed that people were still paying for lunches, students outside of Worcester, or Massachusetts for that matter?
I don't know what you mean.
So, when I used to go to school, right, but they said that my mother and father made too much money, so they either had to pay $5 a week, or I had to bring the lunch in myself, because I wasn't eligible for school lunches. They just passed, maybe last year or the year before, an ordinance where everybody gets free lunch, all students, so no students in Massachusetts have to pay for lunch. And I guess nationwide that's not the case.
I don't know. I used to bring me a peanut butter sandwich, peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
Yeah, and sometime a bologna sandwich with the mustard.
Right.
Put it in my back pocket. See, that's where I put my peanut butter and jelly. Gotta have it in your back pocket so it gets squished.
Right.
Ain't no stinking peanut butter and jelly sandwich if it ain't squished.
Well, it says about 50 million children returned to school this year. Return to school this year, and in this year, nearly 20 million of them are getting free lunch.
I'm not going to be an old stick in the mud type of thing like this, but I think that a sandwich is better than these little itty bitty, what do you call them, Munchables?
Lunchables, yeah.
Lunchables and stuff. There's nothing in it. You got these crackers. You got a whole lot of cheese. You got a whole lot of sugar. You got all these things in there. Get a kid a sandwich. You can take a can of tuna fish with some mayonnaise, whip it all up and make 2 or 3 sandwiches out of it. You know, for the price of, if you got 3 kids, for the price of less than 1 kid's lunch if you have to pay for it. I don't know, it's like, and then throw in an apple, it should have an apple anyway.
Right.
You know?
That's another thing that Trump is looking to repeal and get rid of is all of Michelle Obama's efforts. Do you remember when former President Barack Obama was in office? Michelle Obama, First Lady, was doing a lot with schools to get out and exercise more and eat healthier, and they were doing things like starting to get soft drinks out of schools, no more soda machines and stuff like that. Oh, well, Obama said he's going to change all that. Here comes Coca-Cola and Pepsi right to a school near you.
Right. Yeah, those juices, the juices that they were putting in there were all fructose. They was all full of all kinds of these sugars that made everybody fat.
Yep.
You know? And then people, there's a whole lot of ways to save money on kids' food. I don't know, kids don't need to go to school and get potato chips and popcorn. If you teach a little kid when he's little to enjoy a little baggie full of Cheerios.
Or carrots.
Yeah. Don't even have to go there. Cheerios is the most, kids like Cheerios naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden adults stop giving them Cheerios. They want to give them something else.
Right.
You know, but it's put the Cheerios in a bag, kids will munch on them just like you would munch on your potato chips and stuff.
Yep.
They like them naturally. So give it to them when they're little. And then when they start to develop older, they'll do it to yourself. Put a little baggie of Cheerios and throw it in their little pocket in their little lunch bag for something to munch on.
Right. And and Cheerios are cheap too. So there are cost-effective ways to get, because I was always under the impression, and it is kind of true, to eat healthy is to eat rich. It's more expensive to eat I was under that impression. To eat healthier you'd have to pay more, and plus because if you buy like lettuce, cucumbers and stuff like that, it goes bad in a couple days.
Oh yeah.
So but if you buy a pack of Devil Dogs or Ding Dongs or Twinkies, they'll last on top of your refrigerator over a week. Almost 2 weeks if you don't open the box, and they'll still be there.
That's it. If you buy chicken and cook it,
yep,
it's cheaper than buying from McDonald's.
Yep.
And if you buy macaroni and cheese and cook it,
yep,
it's cheaper than
buying pizza. But we still do it. So yeah, that's an excuse.
You can have macaroni and cheese, and for the kids, not for you, you might not like it, but chop up a couple of hamburgers, hot dogs, and throw them in there with the macaroni and cheese. Kids like it.
Maybe if we get another Democratic president in office, they'll worry more about health care than Donald Trump is. Because I don't think Donald Trump is worried about
the middle class kids that are really worrying about eating the food. So, my grandkids, they go to school, but like Max, he's so busy being Max and being the little mayor of this little school, he don't even get to eat.
Mm.
He got the lunch and everything, but Max always he's the kind of kid who wants everybody to be happy, so he's always making sure everybody's doing their stuff. He's a little bossy kind of rascal like that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get to eat sometimes. He be bringing the lunch back home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
healthy.
So do you think that? Because I know the electronics has a worse effect on kids. So do you think what's worse for kids, the electronics or the foods that they eat are worse on kids?
Electronics.
You think electronics is worse on them?
I think the video games and all these things like right here, I think it's almost too late at this point in time for people to stop it and let the kids have some fun. Kids are bored.
Yep.
They're not in front of those computers and playing these games. They're bored.
Right.
They don't know how to interact and play.
Mm-hmm.
And they develop now to a place to where it's all about style and it's all about some status. They don't get dirty.
Nope, they don't.
They don't get dirty, which is kind of funny because people know it because these games that adults are playing now,
Mm-hmm.
the Spartan games, Tough Mudder,
Yep.
all these physical kind of, it's only playing by a select group of people. It looks like there's a lot of people, but there's really, I don't know, there's thousands of people, but it's not, it's not millions.
Have you ever seen Ninja Warrior Troop?
This here, well, let me finish this here on
Okay.
these Spartan games and
All right.
everything. The draw to that is playing in the mud.
Yeah.
That's the draw. The obstacles aren't that tough to get over these obstacles. It's not that tough. And if you can't get over it, walk around it. It's all accepted. But the joy of it is playing in the mud,
There's
coming
a
out there
freedom.
dirty.
There's a freedom in that troop. To go to know, like, oh, I'm gonna go get, and I can just go take a shower. My mom's gonna be mad because there's dirt everywhere, but I want to do
look
it.
at me, all
Yep.
dirty and stuff.
But
But
yes.
the kids now, on the other end, they don't want to get dirty. They're scared of dirt.
That's it. I'm gonna make my kids get dirty too.
They go outside and they don't know what to do because they can't get dirty.
Yep.
It's totally, and that's because of the games. They know how to play the video games. They know how to talk to their friends on computers.
Yep.
They know how to use the phones. But you put them outside and they can't get dirty because it's against, this is their society that
Right.
they've developed.
Yep.
In their little world, it's all about, look at my clothes, because the adult population that's not that much older than they are. I got $200 sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
See this shirt, this cost me $175. It's like all this stuff, and the money really doesn't have any wealth, any value to the kid. It's not
Nope.
it's his parents' money.
Nope. You're right.
So they just play on their computers, and they can be anybody they want to, and you put them outside, and they don't know what the hell to do.
Right. Hey, I can't disagree with you there, Troop.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost got about 10 minutes left, and since we're talking about kids, I want to give everybody an update on my daughter. She was in the hospital. I've forgotten how long she's been in the hospital, off and on now since about April. I think it started in about April, and now it's March. She started in March, and now we're in the month of May. She's been in and out of the hospital due to her hydrocephalus, and that's when you're born with no tubing in your head. So what that means is that fluid will go in your head, and it would kind of clean your brain out from any kinds of infections and stuff, and then that fluid you would just urinate out, your body absorb it, and you just urinate and it's gone. Well, she wasn't born with that. So when she was a baby, she had to get a tube put in.
Yeah.
So the tube can only be so long because she's an infant. She's only about maybe 2 feet long. So as she got older, they had to take one out and put one in. Well, when she was 10 years old, they had a tube in there that was long enough that they said she should never have to get an operation again because they even had it coiled long enough so as she grew, that tubing would grow along with her because she was only expected to grow maybe a certain amount of inches left. From an infant to 10 years old, you grow in a couple of feet. From, like 10 years old to maybe, you're growing maybe inches, maybe around a little less than a feet. So she had complications from that, and they had to change the tube. And from March of them changing the tube, to her getting another infection, to her getting a bacterial infection, to them taking the tube out, to them putting the tube back in, and then her body rejecting it, the tube fell out. She's been really dealing with surgery after surgery after surgery. It's really tough to watch a kid go through that, but she has one more surgery left. As soon as this infection is gone, one more surgery, and then she should be all set for as long as that tube works the right way, won't have to worry about having operations again.
Yeah, good.
But,
Hanging this guy.
Yep, but and she was on the show a couple, maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah, Sky was here just about 3 weeks ago. She was on the show.
Yep, she was on the show.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm bringing it up, first off, I want to say, like, you know, she is doing better. She's in her spirits are getting up there, and she's happy, but she still can't get that operation until the infection is gone. So that's the only tough thing. She has to stay in a hospital until then. However, I want to say that the people of Worcester, people that I know, all people have been so good and generous and nice, and it makes me have hope in the human race. Now I know a lot of those people. Troop, you said you had concerns about people when they give.
Well, I have concerns about people when they give, but I know that a lot of people, the generosity isn't. It's heartfelt, but it's internalized for them. It's not something for somebody else. It's I'll call it a look at me, aren't I doing a wonderful thing type of thing, which is okay. You know, but you know, a lot of people, that's where their generosity comes from these days. It's just like not playing in the dirt. It's a status thing. Just like the clothes that people wear, it's a status thing. I helped this, but I did this, I did that, I did this. It's all egoistic type of way of living.
Yep. But
that's what Americans do.
Right. Yep. That's what a lot of us Americans do, and I admit I have done that before. Even subconsciously, some people do it. Like I'll give something to someone, and then I'll be happy that I did it, and walk away and not ask anything in return. But then when I don't hear them give me a shout out,
now you get upset.
Now I'm like, who the heck do they think they are? Not giving me any kind of props or happiness or anything. But I still, Troop, I have to think half glass full. I appreciate every single person that for everything that you've done for my family in these past couple months and these tough times, and it does make me believe in humanity, even though a lot of it, I mean, even though when you read the news like I do, you kind of see the bad side of humanity.
Yeah, and you should be thankful to them, and you should let them have all that thing. And you know, that's just the old cynic version of the way I think things are. But, you know, but that may not be true with everybody. But you know, that's okay. It's the thought that counts. It's not the action that comes after it, or why you're doing the thing. It's the thought. It's really the thought that counts. If they had enough thought to know that when somebody's in trouble and somebody's in pain, and you're going to call them a friend, that you should reach out and help that person if you can. If it doesn't put you in a hole, then you should reach out and do whatever you feel is good. You don't have to. You know, they don't have to come and pay you rent for the next rest of your life, or do anything like that for the rest of your life. That's not what you do. You know, they should do what this is something for a little bit of something to make you feel better. It's more on a mental thing than it is on a physical thing. I would think.
Yeah, they've come and they've helped. People brought food by, brought brownies by, brought stuff for the kids by. A couple people brought Sky a blanket. I thought that was really cool because they were like, you know, if you don't like those hospital blankets, here, this is a nice one that you can have. They brought her putty. They brought her stuff to like decorate her room. Since she's been in there, she'll be in there for about a month total. You know, they brought her a lot of stuff, and it was really touching to me, at least.
Yeah, that's good.
So
I think it's touching too.
So that's what's going on with me in my past week, Troop. I know that you.
I don't have a week.
Well, I know that you might not have had a week, but you had a weekend. I know that you went to go see.
Oh, I saw Max, my grandson, in his play, and he just stole the show. And it was Annie, and he's the dog.
Yep.
He played the dog. He got a little costume on, and he got his lines. Woof, 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 woof. That's his line, because he's a dog. You know, he played an excellent dog. He stole the whole show. And what was really great for me was that he's in the first grade, and you have to, the school starts the theater program for the 3rd grades to the 8th grade. But because of Max is just the way Max is, they searched him out to see if he would play the dog. And then he played the dog, and he was just like the dog in the story with Annie. You know, he was almost co-starring in the thing.
Yep.
So that was cool. He was he spread a lot of he spread a lot of joy and love out to a lot of people like that. They, you know, he didn't mind them petting them.
Yeah, stealing the
Stuff
show.
like that. He's just cool like that.
Yeah, you know, you could tell he stole the show too, because he was
Oh, yeah.
he was a lot smaller than all the other kids, and even all the kids when they took the group picture, a lot of them were still looking at him instead of looking forward at the thing. They were looking right at him. So I thought that was pretty cool about it. But maybe that's what kids need, Troop. Maybe we need to make them get into more of the arts where they can use talent such as acting. Like my daughter Willow, she has a British accent like you wouldn't believe. Like she sounds like she could have been from Britain or something. So, I mean, maybe I should get her into acting or something. I already have her in dance. But it's like you have to get your kids into, yep, right to the camera. Let me make sure you get that right. Yep.
There he is, folks.
Yep. That came in
That's
good too.
Max. That's Max right there.
So if you look
and
at,
if you want to pet him, just you can pet him too. One more for all the people. That's the Max.
Yep. So yeah. So what I like is that Max is doing extracurricular things.
Oh.
It's not all about just technology. He's doing plays. You always talk about
he's got dance recital coming up in June.
Yep.
He's just a kid that's just like that, and it's being encouraged by his mother. She encourages that, or I'll put a belt on that behind. My behind didn't grow that high, Nicole. That's how I got older. But
and before you call DCF, Nicole has to be what, 40?
Yeah, she's 40.
Okay, so don't come looking for true
That's
kids.
right. I'll put a belt on that 40-year-old behind. It ain't that high.
All right.
She better take care of them boys the way it should be done.
Yep. So
He's doing great.
Right. So that's what's our past week's troop. What's up? What are you up to this week?
This week?
Yep.
Just studying, got finals, and then
the finals, end of the school year.
yeah, and then that's it.
All right.
That's it.
For this, I'm
Training
preaching.
after that, so I can run in the desert.
Oh yeah.
Increase my training.
Right. Yep.
After I get done with this broken wrist.
Yeah. How long has it been hurt now? Messed up?
Been a while.
Has it been more than a couple months? Shouldn't it be healed by
Yeah.
now?
Except I didn't do anything, put some tape on it. And I
Right.
got this-
Hey,
Got
isn't
this
your
tape.
wife a doctor?
Yeah, but she don't care. she knows me.
Yeah, yep.
Pay no attention to that fool.
All right. Well, Troop, we had another good show. We got any other shout-outs or anything you want to say in the last minute?
I just gonna shout out to Memorial Day's coming up, folks, soon. I don't know when it is. When is Memorial Day?
I have no idea.
I
I know
know it's-
Mother's Day is coming up.
Mother's Day, I want to shout out to all the mothers out there, and all you mothers, you're very much deserving of all the love, because you're the ones who create all the kids that come
Yep.
out there. Whether they be good, whether they be bad, whether they're all good to you. You're the mother.
Yeah, we
You
help
know,
make them. You create them.
Yeah, mothers create those children, and I'll give a shout out. It's not easy.
All
I know
right.
my mother she had tendonitis in that elbow from whooping on that behind of mine so much. So I'm sure there's a lot of other mothers out there with with a tennis elbow from beating them behinds.
Yep. Well, this week I'm going to be up in and out of the hospital visiting my daughter, taking care of the kids. My wife's been up at the hospital a lot, so I have to be the mommy and daddy at home, and I now have even a greater appreciation of what my wife goes through as being mommy at home. So
yeah.
make sure I'm going to do right by her this Mother's Day. I'm going to make sure, maybe take her out to eat or to the movies. You never know.
Eat or to the movie, just like we started.
All right. That's it for Voice of the Voiceless.
I'm going to give my shout out to all special ops. I'm going to give my shout out to Mason and Max.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Voice of the Voiceless, Tuesday at 12 to 1 WCUW.
And that's it. Is we out?
.org.
Greetings, Troy Tyree, Executive Director of
We are
Community
out.
Radio, WCW Worcester.
All right, Troop, look
As
at
you
this.
listen in this week, you're going to notice a change in our afternoon programming. Our Spanish programming
See the guy in the
is
little
now
hood?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Little hood?
No, the hood. The guy with the tall
You can
guy.
also
Yeah.
find Spanish
You see,
programming
can you get a good look at his
from 12 to
hoodie?
2 p.m. On Mondays, we're bringing you a new
Get a good look at his
program called
sweatshirt.
Monday Encore. Expect
Because it
to
looks
hear
just like
showcase
yours, all the
presentations
holes in it, and that's new.
Oh.
presented
All those, like, they literally put
Fridays
holes in
is
their
the
clothes
full
now.
program.
They used to do it in the 80s too.
Oh, yeah, with
We're
the
rebroadcasting
Yeah,
Democracy
but now
Now!
so they wear sweaters just like yours. They would think, if you went to New York right now, Troop, they'd think, oh wow, that's nice.
Right here in
I wear it because
Democracy Now!
I don't see any sense in throwing it away. I was going to the gym to sweat. It's
You can drop
like,
an
what?
email to Clark@WCW.org
It's a sweatshirt.
Or call the office.
I refuse to go paying a whole lot of money for some
We
designer
appreciate your support. of
workout
Community
clothes.
Radio.
That just doesn't make
Enjoy
any
the
sense to
episode.
me.
Troop, I think I'm gonna put your I'm gonna put Voices of Voiceless on your Facebook thing instead of the Voices of Voiceless thing from now on.
Why?
Because if it's Voices of Voiceless, it's just me and you.
So,
And
but
nobody
still
really-
should be on Voice of the Voiceless. Them other guys, they can come back anytime they want to.
Yeah, then we'll put it on then.
No, put it on Voice of the Voiceless.
And now,
All right.
Sanctuary City.